No, we are not fighting. No, there are not issues. No, I'm not avoiding this. Everybody, settle down. Ren's back. What's going on, YouTube? It's Willie Knox Hill. We're back with our breakdown series. So today, man, listen, I know, apologies. So much has happened in hip hop. We got brand new J. Cole. A$AP Rocky dropped a brand new album. You guys always appreciate it. I'm spinning so many plates. This has been on my radar. I've been looking forward to this. It feels like Christmas Day has come early because we get a brand new installment of the Tales series from Ren. I'm looking at Vincent's tale, The Bedroom. But before I go any further, listen, huge announcement. If you guys want to come see me and the homie Victus and some special guests live, we are playing in Manchester on Saturday, the day after the Big Push plays. That's right, we coordinated it with them to make sure that we were also there. So those of you who are coming to go see the Big Push, if you want to make a weekend in Manchester out of it, if you want to come see us the next day, I'll put all links down there so you guys can grab your tickets. You can come meet me and kick it with me and hang out live. It's always a great night for independent music, for independent art. I'll put all links down there. But anyways, know what we're here for. Ren, step back up to the plate. See what you got. I recognize this prison, and I'm not going to say why I recognize it, but I very much recognize it. That's a dope shot. Oh, I love that. I love how this opens, right? The Tales series, if you think about it, we always have a musical opening. And it's normally been led by an acoustic guitar. Ren switching it up. Obviously, you hear the acoustic guitar in the background, tantalizing us. But then opening shot with the electric guitar. And first time we just add just a different dynamic and musical element with the electric guitar solo. And this shot right here is gorgeous to me. Like, it's understated. Just moving in between guitar and microphone, just into the space and making us feel like the real focus is not actually on Ren here. It's really on the guitar and the way that he even positions his guitar. So as he moves his fingers along it, we're almost sliding along the neck of the guitar too, right? And just like feeling integral, like the camera is just a part of the instrument here. And then just really letting the music speak and put you into the zone and into the soul. And also, little Easter eggs at the back there, right? You got self-portrait, Van Gogh painting. You've got the sunflowers, another Van Gogh painting. And then what is this called? Vincent's tale, The Bedroom. The Bedroom is another Van Gogh painting. Vincent Van Gogh. Nice little play off of that there in the two previously released tracks from this new series from Ren. Also, I want to point out, I really love this opening shot from Sam. Where was it? This here. Coming in and walking in, and just that singular soft light, right? The warm light. And you just have, again, you talk about different colors. So you have the cool blues, and then you have that warm lighting in the middle. So just kind of that contrast between different sort of warm to cooler lights right here. That's a beautiful shot. And then also, we're obviously in a prison, right? And this feels like breaking a little bit of a meta here, because even though this is Vincent's tale, feels like Ren's tale. You can imagine him being sick, being trapped in that bedroom, not knowing really what his future holds, not knowing anything truly about his health, and just feeling like that bedroom has become like a prison for his mind and a physical prison for him and his body. And I feel like some of that is reflected and represented here with his version of Van Gogh's bedroom, because Van Gogh's bedroom is a bedroom setup similar to this. In this case, we're in the prison. Some clever thought process here. Yeah, nice solo. Let's jump ahead now. I just love that movement. Great picking, but then also just great camera work. And I said Sam, but actually, I think Bo was operating this one. Bo is one of the best camera operators I've ever seen. But I know Sam was a part of this too.
Anger. Have you ever felt anger with nowhere to place it? Vincent felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated. Look for the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within, without, above, below, same thing. Wait, it gets deeper than that. The insane thing is sane men living in insane terrain, contorn insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange, without the factor of cause and effect. Factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect. Let's start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark, home birth to a mother painting scars on her arm. Track march from the dragon, China white in the palm. Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn. Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grade, sprayed with low self-esteem. From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, funny bin. He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stocking. Started a combustion, nothing. Pulled him out of debt, the debt collector's rushing to be stripping him of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats, the days, the week's the most your life. When the day's done, it's the same one. It's a repeat, it's a rerun. A deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison. Whole Britain, Great Britain, hell Britannia rule the wave. We started out with intentions and we ended up like slaves. Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. What helps you is what kills you when you're living too deep.
And that's what's helping him and killing him. Turning into drink. Let's break down some more of this. I tell you what, we got storytelling Ren, but I really feel like Ren wanted to flex his pen. And it's just his rap scheme, right? Very condensed, multi-syllabic rhyme writing as well. Just flipped into this. Some nice word flips as well. Some nice cadence changes and delivery. Obviously, we know when he wants to get melodic and sing, he's got that. And he just flashed little moments of that. But this was more. This is more of an MC's type of verse right here and just setup.
With nowhere to play.
There we go.
Anger. Have you ever felt anger? With no
I love that opening line. Anger. Have you ever felt anger? I can't do it. And sorry for botching the British accent and the enunciation there, but I just love how he asks a simple question. A simple question to really bring in the listener. Because it's a simple line, but so relatable. Because, yeah, we all have.
Where to place it. Vincent felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated. Look for the...
I love that line. Empathy castrated. Right? Feeling dejected. Feeling so angry, and yet struggling to empathize with others because you're just so torn and caught up in your own world. And maybe he's not receiving any empathy either, right? This outcast type of feeling. And just, I love the word choice of that.
Neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated. Look for the new thing. Always look for the new thing, but...
Empathy castrated. Always look for the new thing. Notice how he's more here. He's more kind of dropped down, whispered, right? A little bit more aggression to that intonation. And then coming out of that, he goes into the singing. the melody, the more treble with the voice. I just love that just vocal change and dynamic shift just right there, one line to the next.
Impotent, empathy castrated, look for the new thing. Always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within, without, above, below, same thing. Wait.
So above, so below. Love that quote.
It gets deeper than that. The insane thing is sane men living in insane terrain contorn.
The insane thing is insane men living in insane terrain. That's a lot of repetition of insanity, but what is the definition of insanity, right? Doing the exact same thing and expecting different results.
Wait, it gets deeper than that. The insane thing is sane men living in insane terrain, contorn insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange.
I think he's playing off of that and flipping that there.
Sane men living in insane terrain, contorn insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange. Without the factor of cause and effect, factually demands a
strange without the factor of cause and effect. Again, very nice mic delivery and vocal control and just dynamic shifts, just mid-line and mid-bar.
Insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange. Without the factor of cause and effect, factually demands a casualty of constant neglect. Let's start at the start.
Factor, factually, cause and effect, constant neglect. He goes nice internal, then external rhyme writing right there. Just great rhyme bending and flipping it too.
Without the factor of cause and effect, factually demands a casualty of constant neglect. Let's start at the start.
Without a factor of cause and neglect, right? And he's a casualty of constant neglect. It's a clever bar for me, right? Because he's been neglecting himself. He's been neglecting his headspace. He's been neglecting taking care of himself, right? So that neglection, ironically, has led to this point when people so simply want to go, well, what's the cause and what's the effect? But in this case, there was no necessarily exact cause because cause implies an action. But really, it was inaction that led him to the effect, that led him to what we see. Nice little flip again.
Without the factor of
He's getting intellectually deep on this.
Cause and effect, factually demands a casualty of constant neglect. Let's start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark, home birth to a mother, painted scars on her arm. Track march from the dragon, China white and a palm, shooting up the birth.
Right, from the dragon, chasing the white dragon, marks the white, right? So she's a drug addict.
Canal, Vinny fell
chasing that heroin.
On the arm. Track marks from the dragon, China white and a palm.
Track marks from the dragon on her arm, so like injecting into her veins, heroin.
Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn, tumbled out.
And then shooting up the birth canal, like she's shooting drugs into her system versus like a baby, and then shooting up and down the birth canal. Come on.
Unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grade, sprayed with low self-esteem. From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash, the rules.
From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. I love how he has just like the painting because again, this is Vincent. So you have a little bit of like Vincent Van Gogh's story and painting it green. And what did Van Gogh really exceed at that he never really got to fully realize? He was great at, taking his psychology, taking his pain, taking all of that and projecting it into his paintings. So Ren is giving us this painting of this man and giving us his background of it too.
With low self-esteem, from the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me.
And then painting it green plays off of money. Green for money. So the color green, painting, and then you flip it into cream, get the money. Cash rules everything around me. That's a Wu-Tang shout out right there.
From the fire to the
he hip-hop that.
Frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around
me.
Cream, get the money, funny bin. He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stuck in, started a combustion, nothing.
He was never good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was stuck in, that. And then he goes more peppered, more staccato with the delivery. You notice that flow switch, and then he starts to really bubble through with it.
Money, funny bin. He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stuck in, started a combustion, nothing. Pulled him out of debt, the debt collector's rushing to be stripping him of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats the day.
The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The way he does that to fit into the rhyme scheme. But also, again, that continuous cycle, you know how I pointed out like him using insane 3 different times? Insanity. This cycle of psychosis. Just flipping off of that.
Actually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats the days, the weeks the most your life. When the day's done, it's the same one. It's a repeat, it's a rerun.
And that's a cycle.
Deja vu religion.
That was a nice day's week. That was just a nice flip, man. Like I could sit here and really like hyper dissect this, but I'm also trying to keep going and keep progressing through this. Help you guys appreciate certain points, but then also keep the progression moving.
One, it's a repeat, it's a rerun, a deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison, whole Britain.
A foreboding of a prison. Right there, when it goes just a little faster, you take a couple syllables, you kind of speed through the flow, and then you slow it down and really go back to the more peppered delivery on the end. A foreboding of a prison.
Great Britain, Hell Britannia, rule the waves. We started out.
Great Britain, Hell Britannia, rule the waves. That is Rule Britannia. That is a famous, like, I know obviously Americans can be super patriotic. We have our own songs. That is a very patriotic, like, Hail the British Empire song. And ironically, I love how he takes it and he actually flips it into them no longer, like, because Rule Britannia is like for the Navy and Rule Britannia and we will never be slaves. But in this case, isn't it ironic because Ren paints a picture of a man who becomes a slave to the system and how so many of us get weighed down within Britain, become slaves to it all.
It's a rerun.
The irony of that, and then using that famous patriotic lines and then flipping it on its head and inverting the meanings.
A deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison. Whole Britain, Great Britain, Hell Britannia, rule the waves. We started out with intentions and we ended up like slaves.
Right there.
Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. What helps you is what kills you when you're living too DK.
Love that delivery. What helps you is what kills you, because having the alcohol to numb it all, but it's also slowly killing him as well, living to decay. Cheers.
And so it goes. Vinny starts to drink to let go. Soon he's drinking cause
Reggae vibes here.
when he don't drink, every day is a day on death row. So we drink so we don't have to think. Mercy, taste bittersweet. When the spirit that's inside of him sinks in his teeth, and the months turn over, May to October. More days pissed than the days he spent sober. Skin looks older, demeanor gets colder. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. A cold prison deep in alcoholism. 40% proof, no juice. Inhibition get loose, bad decision into booze. When we're living for the booze, who's who he lose himself to? One too many, 1, 2, 3 shots down.
Hey.
Drown those sorrows up in London town. If we in for a penny, we in for a pound. Fate comes full circle. Now it's Vinny boys round.
Hey, it wouldn't be a Tales if we didn't have a shout out and a nod to our setting for all this storytelling, London town.
1, 2 many, 1, 2.
There's a nice line too about every day is like being on death row. He sat in the prison, and obviously the more that he drinks, he's describing how he's falling into this alcoholism.
We're living for the booze. Who's who he lose himself to?
And obviously it's a story I feel like that could be so many different people and characters, and it's so relatable. But at the same time, we got to remember he's also having this parallel and running telling about the degradation and the, self-destruction that Vincent van Gogh himself experienced, and his own psychosis and his own issues. And for me too, there's interesting parallels, speaking on that, to some of what I've witnessed Ren go through and what he's gone through with his journey, and all of the struggles that he's gone through up here in addition to his health. But obviously he's had a degradation of health for different reasons than the self-destruction of alcoholism. But again, there's some really interesting writing, and there's moments where I feel like we're kind of breaking a meta. It can apply to Ren. There's other moments that it applies to Vincent van Gogh. There's other moments that it just applies to the character of this story, of the tales that he's telling us.
Bad decision into booze when we're living for the booze. Who's who he lose himself to? 1, 2 many, 1, 2.
Who's who, lose himself, 1, 2, mic check, come on.
3 shots down, drown
I
those
love how he takes that and flips it into 3 shots down.
sorrows up in London town. If we in for a penny, we in for a pound.
If we're in for a penny, we're in for a pound. Famous British colloquial saying. What do we have in American that might be similar? Go big or go home, maybe? But you pay for a penny, but then you're committed. If you've given up a penny for it, you're seeing this through to the end. If it turns into a pound, so be it. It's kind of all in, right? One shot. You know what? It's not just one. It's not stopping. We're all in. He's sinking all the way down. Love that line to flip it.
No sorrows up in London town. If we in for a penny, we in for a pound. Fate comes full circle. Now it's Vinny boys round.
Comes full circle. Vinny boys round. a shot, a round of shots versus his round, his turn for fate, coming back around, karma getting him, flipping off a round in a circle. Nice little bar to end it there. There's the bedroom. There's the painting I was talking about. You know what's really dope? I talked about like the warm and the cool lightings, the blues and like the warmer yellowy orangish light. There you go right there within the painting. So they've stuck true to sort of that color palette and that theme. And then the pictures on the wall as well reflecting that. Yeah, love that. Oh, this feels very hip hop. Richard's Tale. Come on.
Siren starts singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent.
Aye.
One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. When tyrants make the law, they go to war with non-compliance. Locked up, Vinny been locked up since his mother knocked up. Kitty grew up fast, pulled his socks up. Chop chop, keep that credit top top. Time is money, tick tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop.
Aye.
Not particularly special, Vinny spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil. Repetition caused some issues, turned a hide into a jackal. Building pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level. Ooh man, he's a mad lad, falling on the warpath. Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki bloodbath. Skies are raining black ash, copper car lights flash. Red and blue kaleidoscope, some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety. The one that sells you sex as it pedestals virginity. The one where we elect these lying pests with God ability. One to the two to the three to the one. Our boy spun his own web-fed tarantulas come like 9 to the 9 to the 9. Through his crimes timelines intersect. Richard's fate was designed.
Hey, before it gets too far ahead of us, now I love the switch up, right? Total dynamic shifts. Go in one direction. Look over here. Smoke mirrors, flashes. Oh, now we're here. Wait. Now look over here. We turn it to an old school hip hop style boom bap track, man. I love the saucing of this production and obviously the flows from Ren. And it makes sense because we had a little bit of a, cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, Wu-Tang nod. Hang on. I love this opening because you hear like, I got a vinyl player over there. You know when you first put the needle in the vinyl, right? And you just have that just scratching quality. You have that here to open. So it sounds very old school already. I love incorporating the police sirens into the beat as well. And you just hear like the police scanner. And Ren's going, yeah. And he's kind of just sliding back and forth with the panning on the mix. Like just like giving you atmosphere. Making us feel like we're in the police car here. And this is a dope little just breakdown where you take the beat and you play it in reverse. So it has just kind of almost like that chaotic dissonance quality to it.
Siren starts singing.
And then it kicks back in for.
Mr. Screw's murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent. One man's resistance is the...
Stand on my Miranda. Now see, that was an American flip that he had while telling his British story, the Miranda rights. My right to remain silent. But in this case, he flips it to my right to remain violent.
Stand on my Miranda.
And he kind of says violent. Does he say it like Violet? A little nod to Violet's tale? Maybe?
Siren starts singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda.
Siren starts singing as the screws murder silence. I love the way that he flips that, right? Siren singing. And then silence, the silence is murdered. And I'm not taking my right to remain silent. I'm taking my right to remain violent. I just love how this line sets up and leads into the Miranda rights flip bar.
Siren starts singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent. One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. When tyrants make...
One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. And he has a lot of these paradoxes and just these ironies and these hypocrisies that he likes to point out. And he gets to it later on in this verse too.
The law, they go to war with non-compliance. Locked up, Vinny been locked up since his mother knocked up. Kitty grew up fast, pulled his socks up. Chop chop, keep that credit top top. Time is money, tick tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop.
Love that. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chops up. What we do for money, and time really is money, and are we just wasting our time?
Time time is
chasing the money.
Money, tick-tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop. Not particularly special. Vinny spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil. Repetition caused some issues. Turned a hide into a jackal.
Nice.
Building pressure in the kettle. Bubble up to boiling level. Ooh, man. He's a mad lad. Falling on.
Nice little flip on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but turned a Hyde into a Jekyll. So again, he's taking what you should think it's going one way and flipping meanings on their head and just flipping paradoxes.
Pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level. Ooh, man, he's a mad lad, falling on the warpath. Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki bloodbath. Skies are raining black ash.
Nagasaki, bloodbath. Nagasaki, Hiroshima, atomic bomb flip.
Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki
And split the atom.
bloodbath. Skies are raining black ash. Copper car lights flash. Red and blue kaleidoscope. Some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim.
Red and blue kaleidoscope. Some folks don't like that. No, we don't like the police around here.
Red and blue kaleidoscope. Some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety.
Love that.
The one that sells you sex as it pedestals virginity.
And here's some of those flips that you're seeing. You know, peddling sex, selling you because sex sells, as they say in marketing, right? Well, uplifting those who abstain from it. But on one hand, again, you have just these hypocrisies that he's pointing out within our society, within the system itself.
Folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety. The one that...
Hey, now we're getting 0% beer all day, every day. Everybody's celebrating all that. But, you know, at the end of the day, we still live in a society that promotes the party culture, that promotes going out for drinks, that promotes going out on the weekend, having a beer, the pubs, all of that, you know?
sells you sex as it
Are we all marching towards our own self-destruction willingly or ignorantly or a little bit of both?
pedestals virginity. The one where we elect these lying pests with gullibility. One to the two.
Where we elect these lying pests with gullibility. I know how Ren feels about the prime minister. I know how he feels about the president of the United States too. So that feels like a little bit of a flip. Shots fired at politicians.
Lose virginity, the one where we elect these lying pests with gullibility. One to the two, to the three, to the one. Our boy spun his own web, fed tarantulas come like.
That boy sped his own web, fed tarantulas come. That's a really interesting line, but here's a fun fact about spiders, right? They weave these little webs, the male spiders, and they're little cum webs, essentially. And they take those nice little cum webs, and that's what they insert into the female spile. I can't even talk. I can't even get into the spile, into the female spider, right? I'm trying to explain a very complex spider cum bar. The web that we weave of fate, the webs of fate versus the spider coming like this, flipping it nice.
To the three, to the one, our boy spun his own web, fed tarantulas come like. 9 to the 9, to the 9, through his crimes, tying lines into set, rich as fate.
9 to the 9 times having 9 lives versus like a 9mm, the fate.
It was designed.
Yo! We went all the way back to the Tales of Jenny and Screech. That's the same outfit that he wore. Same haircut, same look. That's gotta be Josh, right? Is that Josh? Give me money if that's Josh. Yo, I love that callback to Tales of Jenny and Screech. That's so dope. That's so dope. Because we're riding around in the whip of Richard. And Richard was revealed earlier, 6'3" of this Tales. The same Richard who killed Screech. That same Richard is coming back around full circle here. The one who is arresting Vincent, who had that just altercation with Vincent. And obviously Vincent is now riding around in the back of the police car with Richard. That's why we flip to Richard's tale. Oh, I love it.
It was designed. Just set the scene, it's 2019. Richard and a boy named Screech. The hands of fate, they touch and read. Siblings buried, blood it bleeds. Etched in Richard's memories. Falls a model, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absent leave. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls of yourself. And there's nowhere to go. And his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. Go to therapy, raggedy, seem to plateau. When his popo went loco and woe so low that his mojo no mono, rebound no yo-yo. And so the time it moved slow-mo. You see the case was never closed, cause the motive was confusing. Orphan killed his sister, but his sister was removed when the mother died. died in childbirth, but dying womb life brings. The cycle of samsara always was quite amusing. Brother killed his sister, but the records seem to show the brother never met his sister, didn't even know. So the tragedy was a catastrophe, a fate fucked up. Rich just losing sleep while his whole family's talked up.
Oh, let's break that down before we flip it.
Paint the picture, set the scene. It's 2019. Richard and a boy named Screech. The hands of fate, they touch and read. Siblings buried, blood it bleeds. Etched in Richard's memories. Thoughts a muddled, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absent leave.
Dotson, Rodney, trouble, sleep. Got a nice little triplet flow flip on some of those parts. But for me, again, you talk about the delivery, kind of soften, being a little bit more melodic, and then coming through with a little bit more like aggressive rapper delivery and just having like line, 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 line. Just flipping the cadences, man. Great delivery.
Richard's memories. Thoughts a muddled, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absent leave. Hitting the bottle to soften the...
Takes a time of absent leave. So now he's talking about after killing and shooting 4 shots, right? That was 4 guitars that he fired into Screech.
Just memories. Thoughts a muddled, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absent leave. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow. In the walls of yourself and there's nowhere to go. When his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show.
Hitting the bottle to soften the blow. Isn't it funny? The parallels, and I see again the irony and the paradoxes here between what's happened to Richard, as we seem to be going back in time, versus what Ren was describing happening to our character, our main protagonist of Vincent. Hitting the bottle too.
Hitting the bottle to soften the blow. In the walls of yourself and there's nowhere to go. When his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. Go to therapy regularly, seem to plateau when it's Pope.
Go to therapy regularly, seem to plateau, but we're not really going beyond that.
Went loco and woe so low that his mojo no more, no rebound, no.
So low, his mojo no more. Flip on Popo. Nice little again. Condense 1 2 to 1 2 to 1 2 to 1 2.
Repeat regularly, seem to plateau when his Popo went loco and woe so low that his mojo no more, no rebound, no yo-yo. And so the time it moved slow-mo. You see the case was never closed cause the
time it moved slow-mo. And notice when he was delivering slow-mo, he kind of chopped and screwed that, which we use in rap to kind of like slow down the sound of a voice elongate the vowels because it gets so much bassier. So nice little just production flip as he goes slow-mo there.
No rebound, no yo-yo, and so the time it moved slow-mo. You see the case was never closed cause the motive was confusing. Orphan killed his sister, but his sister was removed when the mother...
Orphan killed his sister. Why? Because Screech killed Jenny. They didn't even know that they were brother and sister.
Died in childbirth, but dying womb life...
Died in childbirth. A little nod to Violet's tale.
Bring the cycle of samsara.
Violet was their mother. For those who, if you haven't seen the original tales, what are you doing right now on this channel? Go watch the original tales, watch my breakdowns of that, then come back here and let's carry this on.
Moved when the mother died in childbirth, but dying womb life brings. The cycle of samsara always was quite amusing.
There's that theme again of cycles, but in this case, it's not the cycle of a psychopath. It's not the cycle of being stuck of alcoholism. This is a different cycle of samsara, but for Ren, of life and death. And that's a very sort of Buddhist term. He's used samsara before, right? This idea of trying to break free from samsara, from this life cycle of karma, of birth, afterlife, re-death, rebirth, coming back around. And for Richard, there is so much life and death that he's experienced after taking another life. And it's almost like he's having a self-death right now.
Brother killed his sister, but the records seem to show the brother never met his sister, didn't even know. So the tragedy was a catastrophe, a fate fucked up. Rich just losing sleep while his whole family's talked up.
And also samsara, a brother killing sister, Richard killing him. Where are we going now?
The 5 stages of grief is a common psychological model, often used to provide reassurance to all those stricken by loss. For loss comes with a cost like frostbite, shockingly cold, paving the road to decomposure, decomposing your soul. 1. Denial, pretending for a while, reality retired, but everything is changing. Richie lost the will to smile, how to reconcile when murdering a child. The 2nd stage is anger, feel it bubbling the bile. Anger, damn the man that served the hand that wrote the plan. If God is His will that's good and grand, then damn we are. We all are damn forsaken by creation. Revelations Richard cannot stand. The third stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance. Lord, I know it is a reach, but I'm begging on my knees. Resurrect the boy James, resurrect the boy Screech. I'll devote my life to thee, I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression, that's a lesson taught in grief. Depression, demonic like possession, that feeds upon this spark for life. No water is refreshing, no sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening. Depression, the numbing of expression, the negative obsession, ruminating in oppression. Stressing is a lesson when your mind begins reflecting. That's stage number 5. 5 is acceptance.
Oh. I love how he just walked us through the 5 stages of grief.
Everything is changing, Richie lost the will to smile. How to reconcile when murdering a
You know what else I wonder? Hang on. Maybe we'll jump ahead and then we'll jump back to break this down. Let's see something. I got a theory here.
5 is acceptance.
Yeah, this is a dynamic shift here with the piano. I can tell this is going a different mood and different energy, right? That was 1. That was 2. 3 with the old school flows. I would say there's 3 and 4 here. Yeah, because that changed out. 3 and 4, 2, 1, 5. There's 5. There's 5 different dynamic changes to this 10-minute tale. I don't think you can call it a singular song because you're essentially getting like 5 songs in one. But he's basically just taking us through the 5 stages of grief. And then he ends right there on acceptance. And for me, isn't it ironic that what looks like, it might be the last one for the 5th one, but at the very least, the 5th one of acceptance, right? Hits on acceptance, the 5th dynamic change, the 5th sort of song change that we have within this. Literally a meta on the 5 stages of grief. That's clever. Let's go back to this therapy session.
The 5 stages of grief is a common psychological model, often used to provide reassurance to all those stricken by loss. For loss comes with a cost like frostbite, shockingly cold, paving the road to decomposure, decomposing your soul.
Shockingly cold frostbite versus the shock and the trauma of loss. Nice little flip there.
1, denial, pretending for a while, reality retired, but everything is changing, Richie lost the will to smile.
Reality retired. I love that line.
How to reconcile when murdering a child. The 2nd stage is anger, feel it bubbling the bile. Anger down the
Obviously, he's taking time off. He's struggling after the death and the killing of Screech. So he's going through the 5 stages as he tries to process killing Screech.
And that served the hand that wrote the plan. If God is will that's good and grand, then damn we are. We all are damn forsaken by creation. Revelations Richard cannot stand. The 3rd stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance. Lord, I know it is a reach, but I'm begging on my knees. Resurrect the boy James, resurrect the boy Screech. Oh,
nice, really muddy, grungy electric guitar underneath here in the mix.
Devote my life to thee, I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression.
I can't remember. What was Screech's real name? Was it James? Resurrect James? Resurrect Screech? He wants Screech resurrected. I think that was a little bit of an Easter egg, too, back to the Tales of Jenny and Screech, because I think Ren, didn't he have lines about Screech's real name? I think it was James.
I'll devote my life to thee, I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression, that's a lesson taught in grief.
Stage 4 is depression, that's a lesson taught in grief. Notice how he really, to exude the stage of depression, he really switches up his cadence and delivery and really kind of drops down and goes very devil may care, kind of apathetic with it.
Depression, demonic like possession, that feeds upon this spark for life.
Depression, demonic life possession. That's a great way to describe depression.
No water is refreshing, no sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sound.
No sunlight brings him warmth, but really it's a warmth inside that he's seeking. Nice.
Sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening. Depression, the numb. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening.
His guilt and doubt are so loud. I just love the way that that's painted, flipping it off of the silence, because guilt and doubt is raging in his head. The noise is so loud, and yet what you get externally is silence. You get nothing from him.
No sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening. Depression, the numbing of expression, the negative obsession, ruminating in oppression, stressing.
The numbing of expression. Another great way to describe depression.
The numbing of expression, the negative obsession, ruminating in oppression. Stressing is a lesson when your mind begins reflecting. That's stage number 5. 5 is acceptance.
And do we get an accepted Richard here? I feel like that was a really, probably my favorite verse of this so far, of this part that we're breaking down, was that one, going through the 5 stages of grief. And I feel like his choice of words and his way of describing just like that process is someone who's been through it himself, right? That's only an artist that can give you those descriptions and like make it so relatable because they have experienced that.
The road's never quite ideal, but slow rise, dust it off. And let me tell you something, Richie, man, I'm proud, cause you pulled a stitch from the seam, the wound was open weeping. Felt like a regression, but that flesh was set for healing. You wrestled imperfections, misdirections, what with demons. Most demons are a fallen angel, truth has double meanings. Perspective disconnects the trauma, trauma turns to lessons. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing. Remember, in the darkest times, no need for second guessing. No path is ever linear, a stumble leads to stepping. You're a soldier, a scholar of life's sorrow, and day follows day. There will always be tomorrow when it gets colder. Whatever, it's only weather. Rain feeds the crops, let them grow, think clever. I'm so fucking proud of you, Richie, my boy. I know you're itchy, my boy, to get to work and deploy. Serve and protect my don, in for the right reason. I know you think you've done wrong, but look at who you become. It's your first day at work, big man. Hold that head up high, my friend. Come on. We're all proud of you, Richie. I hope you get out there and smash it. I mean, what could go wrong?
I'll tell you what. Oh. Yeah. You know, it's so funny because obviously it was so uplifting. And it was so motivational too. Like some of those lines are just lines that we all can take and apply to our lives and just give us that kind of, you know, that boost that we all need to hear sometimes. But I just want to, the actor who played Richard, man, like a lot of the expressions that he's given throughout this and the different sequences and just the emotions that he's conveying on camera, it's really dope.
From the scene, the wound. Souls get shaken up. The road's never quite ideal, but slow rise, dust it off. And let me tell you something, Richie, man, I'm proud, cause you pulled a stitch from the seam, the wound was open weeping. Felt like a regression, but that flesh was set for healing. You
felt like regression, but that flesh was set for healing. That's a nice flip on that.
Imperfections, misdirections, what we're deemed. Truth has double meanings. Perspective disconnects the trauma, trauma turns to lessons.
Perspective disconnects the trauma. I think that's a great way to put that. Over time, I don't think things ever fully heal, but we can reconcile and we can gain perspective. That's what time grants us, that we don't always have right there coming out of trauma. Because if we're directly connected to that trauma, then we're just relapsing. We're continuing to experience that trauma and not able to really think about it from a different light and a different angle because you're just consumed by the loss and the grief and the pain, and it can become so numbing. Ironically, you feel so much, and yet you feel so numb at the same time.
Fallen angel, truth has double meanings. Perspective disconnects what with demons. Most demons are a fallen angel, truth has double meanings.
Most demons are a fallen angel, which is true. The truth does truly have double meanings. Nothing is truly black and white in this life. You know, we all kind of exist, and our lives all exist in a more gray area, and in more of a yin and yang and paradox and pull between the two. There truly is light and dark within us all, and within the truths that we find and the lies that we hide.
Perspective disconnects the trauma, trauma turns to lessons. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing. Remember, in the darkest times, no need for second.
And there it is. Truth has double meanings. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your biggest blessing. So there's that sort of like juxtaposition flip yet again coming into play. Like this loss, this suffering, this curse that you feel like, that killing of Screech, actually has set your path on a new way forward. So even though this low could somehow bring you to a new high, to a new progression, to a new evolution.
Biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing.
And I think that's a great way for us all to look at loss, for us all to look at, when things go wrong, because life will kick our ass. Life will take downturns, but it's all about how you can process and find a way to continue to move forward.
Remember in the dark.
And can we find lessons within it all? Lessons within the tragedy, lessons within the trauma.
Turns to lessons. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing. Remember in the darkest times, no need for second guessing. No path is ever linear. A stumble leads to stepping.
And that's a great line too. No path is ever linear. A stumble leads to stepping. It's okay to stumble. We're all going to stumble. That's human. That's the human condition. And nobody ever goes like this in straight progress, even though we celebrate and you see all these successful people online that tell you, here's my 10-step plan for making it, for getting rich, for having all this time, for having all this fame. No. And you can't compare your life to someone else's. Comparison truly is the devil. And what's right for someone else may not be right for you. We all have to find our own ways, our own paths, and we all have to screw up and make mistakes and stumble to find our feet in the end.
Times, no need for second guessing.
Really wise lines from Ren here towards the end, man.
No path is ever linear. A stumble leads to stepping. You're a soldier, a scholar of life's sorrow.
A scholar of life's sorrow. That's a great line.
Day follows day. There will always be tomorrow.
Facts.
When it gets colder. Whatever, it's only weather. Rain feeds the crops, let them grow, think clever.
Rain feeds the crops. And rain in this case being symbolic for sorrow, for being times of angst and tragedy. Well, embrace that. Embrace that pain sometimes, because that pain and that rain can lead to growth.
I'm so fucking proud of you, Richie, my boy. I know you're itchy, my boy.
But I can't help but feel like when he has his hand on his shoulder there, like it's Ren. And he just feel like something doesn't feel right about this situation. It feels like it should be so positive, and you just have like this little niggling at the back of your mind, like this little itch, like, hang on, something just can't, I don't trust this. I don't trust this.
Get to work and deploy, serve and protect my done, in for the right reason. I know you think you've done wrong, but look at who you become. It's your first day at work, big man. Hold that head up high, my friend. Come on.
All the emotions
We're all
that he
proud
conveys
of you, Richie.
here.
I hope you get out there and smash it. I mean, what could go wrong?
That's foreshadowing. Nice little shout out to Tales of Jenny and Screech, and then obviously the more modern Vincent's Tales. And that moment when Richard met Vincent. Yeah, man. Love the different dynamic changes. Love the storytelling. Love the messaging. Again, another illustrative, just great palette of art that Ren has given us. Ren, you're Knox Hill certified. Hope you guys liked today's video. Listen, if you're here at the end, obviously enjoying the content, do me a huge favor, support the channel directly, subscribe, notifications on. It all helps. It all goes a long way. Also, if you want to see me and the homie Victus live in Manchester the day after the Big Push plays, you want to come see us, ticket link is now live. I'm about to announce my UK tour, so stay tuned for that, but you can get those tickets first and foremost. I'll put all links down there. All right, everybody, stay safe, stay positive. Take care of this, take care of this. I'll catch you again.
Whoa, sit down, sit down. I'm like, wow, how we do it like that? Like, wow, how we do it like that? Like, wow, how we do it like that? Like, wow, better sit your ass down.